Hey guys, this is chapter 2 of A World in a Dewdrop. I felt a pinch on my ear all of a sudden. Moving my hand away from my head, I saw the little man laughing at me meanly. Did he pinch me? It really hurt. I flicked at the man, and he fell rolling down my arm and then onto the ground, and he disappeared into the yellow grasses bordering the dead white plants. What was I in danger of? And why the little man pinched me? I was not happy about this, and I ran into the house as fast as I could, crying, "Grandma, Grandma!" My grandma came rushing out as soon as she heard me. "What is it, dear?" Are we in danger?" I asked. "Of course not. We're perfectly safe out here in the country." "Are you sure?" "Perfectly sure," she said. I couldn't gather my words, so I just pointed at my ear. "There are some nasty critters in the woods," Grandma said. "Did one bite you?" I hung my head, unable to tell her the truth, and I said, "Yes, ma'am." "Let's get you cleaned up," she said. Grandma took me into the bathroom and used some alcohol and peroxide to clean up my ear, which had a tiny dab of blood on it. Then she put a little Band-Aid on it. While she was cleaning my ear, I finally got up the courage to ask, There aren't any little people in the woods, are there, Grandma? Aside from the critters?" Grandma laughed and made as if to say something, but she remained quiet. I looked at her with bated breath, waiting for her to answer. Finally, she did. "Well," Grandma said, "there are little people, if you know where to look. Now, let me fix you something to eat." She got up quickly and hurried out of the bathroom, leaving me confused. Was Grandma just joking? Or had she seen little people in the woods before too? And was I in danger, as the little man had said? I tried to put the little man out of my mind that night when I went to sleep, but I kept thinking about him. I kept thinking about the danger and about my mommy and daddy in the city. With all the people roaming around, fighting, Mommy and Daddy were in danger in the city, weren't they? But was I in danger here in the countryside as well? I must have fallen asleep because I started dreaming about the dark forest behind the house, except it wasn't as dark as I remember. Standing on this log, I saw a beautiful princess dressed in living flowers. They were blooming right on her dress. She radiated light all around her. She gathered all the animals together and it helped them build up this kingdom. The animals worked together while the princess led them. For a moment, I felt like the princess was looking straight through my dream and right into my soul. I was scared, and I started to hear the characteristic ribbit noise of a frog or a toad. I saw a mighty great toad with a kind but elderly face. He kept gesturing for me to come with him. It was like he was right at my window. I was startled awake. I rushed to the window and I looked down. I saw a faint shape hopping away along the ground. It was a toad. Was it the same toad I had dreamed about? Or did I hear that toad ribbiting and just imagine him as part of my dream? I must have fallen asleep again, because when I awoke the next morning, I felt a lot better. I took the Band-Aid off of my ear and saw that my wound was mostly healed. I spent the next day running and playing in the fields around Grandma's house. By noon, I had forgotten all about the little man and the danger. I was having such a good time laughing and running and throwing rocks and sticks that I didn't even realize it was lunchtime. Grandma called out from the house for me to come in and eat something, but I decided to be naughty. I decided I would hide from Grandma. I hid behind a large barrel on the west side of the house. When Grandma came that way looking for me, I jumped to the side and hid behind an open door. And as I hid, I realized that I had nearly stepped on a gigantic toad with 100 bubble-like blisters on his back. The toad looked up at me as if to thank me for not stepping on him, and when I saw his large, kind face, I got scared. I realized it was the exact same toad from my dream, the same toad I had imagined was sitting outside my window last night, ribbiting. The toad nodded at me and hopped away. Mesmerized, I followed after him. That's the end of chapter 2.